Hello and welcome to this Oak Tree English video on how to pass the ESOL reading exam for Entry 3 with City and Guilds.
And after that incredibly professional introduction, I'm afraid you're back to me. Hello and welcome. Yes, the City and Guilds ESOL Entry 3 reading exam is in 3 parts. You have 1 hour, 45 minutes to do them all. Within the exam, there are 3 types of question which must be answered correctly. One is understanding pictures. Another is understanding layout, and the last one is understanding gist, also known as main idea or purpose. Each is tested twice in each exam. If you get both wrong, you cannot pass and will have to retake the exam. In total, there are around 35 questions. Would you like to know what those 3 sections are? Let's look at them one by one. Activity 1 compares 2 short texts. Activity 2 asks you to fill in a form and answer 2 questions about it. And Activity 3 is a comprehension exercise with 1 text. There is a good model for approaching Activities 1 and 3 called SARK, S-A-R-C. Would you like me to tell you about it? Well, all right then. I actually have an entire video about this called How to Pass Any Reading Exam. SARK stands for Survey, Analyse, Reference, Check. The first thing you should do in your reading exam is to survey the text. This is not the same as reading it. You should use a skill called skimming. Like when you skim a stone and it bounces on the water, you should allow your eyes to bounce through the text, bouncing at the start of each paragraph or section. This will give you an understanding of the gist and organisation of the text without it taking up precious time. Secondly, you should analyse or think carefully about the questions. Ask yourself what you are being tested on, what the examiner wants to see, what type of answer is required. We did this with the listening exam. It's the same process. Those 2 stages should take you only a few minutes. Then you move on to the longest part, referencing. This is a reading exam, and so you're not being tested on what you know, but on what the text says. You need to use your scanning skill here. You know how before digital radio we used to scan for a frequency playing good music. That sort of thing. We're doing that here. You let your eye pass over the text looking for names, places, dates or keywords. Your survey should have let you know the area of the text most likely to have that information. When you find the answer to the question that you've analysed, you write it down from the text, hence reference, and you move on. Finally, you should leave a few minutes at the end to go back and double check all of your answers. You should not leave the room unless you have answered every question and double checked that your answer actually answers the question asked and not something that's going on in your mind, what you would have asked if you had set the exam. You're being tested on understanding the text and understanding the questions. So, Activity 1. Activity 1 is a comparison. It consists of 2 short texts, something like a leaflet and a website, for example, followed by a few questions about each one, and then a couple of questions to compare them. So 3 sections within Activity 1. The 3 essential questions are about purpose, image, and layout. The purpose is about the gist or main idea of a text. Is it there to persuade, like advertising, P, or to instruct, like a car maintenance manual, I, or to describe, like a holiday guidebook, D, or to inform, like a train timetable, another I. Some texts will have a combination of these purposes, and your job will be to say which one it is mostly trying to do. You'll have to do this for at least 2 of the 3 texts in the exam. You may have to do it for all 3. You will also be asked to understand an image, usually something simple like a 5-star review or a logo. Again, there will be 2 chances in the exam. Pay special attention to these questions. You should also be prepared to answer questions about layout. That is about bold or italic and underlined text, about text boxes, differently sized or coloured texts, headlines, subheadings, and other devices used to make text stand out. I would like to draw your attention to the bit at the bottom of that text box, and block capitals, where everything is written in capital letters, block capitals. I have a whole video on these organizational features if this concerns you and you're not sure about it. Most of the other questions are straightforward comprehension exercises, as you've been familiar with for years. These are where you apply your SARK formula. You will also be tested on your alphabetical order and dictionary skills. There are approximately 10 to 14 questions in the first section, and you have about 30 minutes to do it. So spend a few minutes surveying your texts, both texts, then answer the first section, survey, analyze, then you reference, answer the first section, and then you can survey the second text, analyze the questions, and reference your answers, and then you check. Activity 2. Activity 2 is form filling with a twist. Now this is similar to what you did at entry 2, where you're given the filled in information and you have to rebuild the form around it. You're even given the words at the top of the page to put in the appropriate places on the form. This is a very difficult part of the exam to fail. So long as you know parts of address, names, and understand the gist of the exam, this should be very easy. What you see on the screen is an example from the Creativity practice paper, which is available online for free. I won't do it for you, so you have a chance to do it in your class if your teacher decides, but here are the main points. Here, at the top of the page, are the words you need to use. You will need to use all of them. Here is the filled in information. And here are the gaps you have to fill from the words at the top. All clear so far? After this, you have 2 questions to answer about the form. Why not pause now and do the exercise? Comment any problems you have below. 3, 2, 1. I hope you enjoyed that. Activity 3 is another comprehension exercise. This time with one slightly longer text, like a letter or a short magazine article, and 7 to 9 questions. There will be more focus on language in this part, including questions on synonyms, that is, reading in context, and rephrasing. So synonyms are words that mean the same as other words. A equals B, feline equals cat, canine equals dog. English has more words than any other language in the world, and thus there are always many ways to say one thing. For example, an example from a practice exam, grown-ups are adults. Techniques are also methods. The downside of English being such a rich language is we also have synonyms that mean different things in different contexts. Remember, context is king when you come to understanding. For example, in the community sample paper, there's a question which asks you to choose a synonym for creation from the word creation from development, growth, assembly, or invention. In various contexts, creation could be used to mean any of these things and a plethora of other things. So you are being asked to understand the context. To do this, you do something called scan and expand. You find the word using your scanning skill, like the radio, and then you expand to read the sentence that it is in and mentally replace it with the 4 words. And then you choose the one which best fits that situation. You will be asked for an impression. You will also be asked for an impression of the language used. This will be a multiple choice answer again, choosing between words like formal or informal, humorous or official, confidential or aggressive. You can answer this one with the sort of feeling that you get from the text. As before, you will have a gist or purpose question, and then some comprehension questions, testing that you can find specific information in the text. To achieve this, as I said last time, you should SARK, survey, analyze, reference, check, survey, analyze, reference, check. So to recap, 3 sections, 3 texts, and a form. You must get the purpose, layout, and pictures questions right. Don't forget to survey, analyze, reference, and check. If you do this, and you are ready for the exam, there's no reason you shouldn't pass. So, good luck and enjoy it. And remember, survey, analyze, reference, check. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, or even become a channel member and throw me some money. Thanks very much. Goodbye.